The next Doctor Who Character Options online exclusive has been confirmed. It won't come as a surprise to anybody who's been following the rumours and leaks in the Doctor Who figure community of late. This is the Ruins of Skaro set, which seems to have been rumoured for quite some time. I believe the first we saw of it or heard of it were photos of some loose Movellan prototypes that had been glimpsed on some listing website in China or something. And then a bit more recently, like a couple of weeks ago, there was a photo of the set actually in box, with everything all present and correct and ready to go. Again, I think like glimpsed on a Chinese website or something like that. Something had leaked out of the factory. Rather unfortunately for character, I guess, because they weren't able to quiet this announcement in the way that they have done for all the other online exclusives we had in the past. But nevertheless, here it is, here we go. The Ruins of Skaro set now officially announced, officially confirmed. Some lovely, pack shots and shots of the figures to look at as well. So here we have the packaging, again in this brand new style guide that's been in use for about a year or so now, with the white background with the new diamond logo on it, and this colour-coded sort of thing going on for the different Doctors. So obviously with Destiny of the Daleks being a 4th Doctor story, this is the 4th Doctor style guide with a kind of light blue that we also saw on the Deadly Assassin sets. This is basically just a more premium version of that packaging that we've seen for the 3-packs in B&M of late, with a bit more of a window there, the Character Online exclusive red badge there on the front as well, and a bespoke, unique backdrop as well to go alongside the figures. So we don't get that anymore in the actual B&M sets, just because they're a budget line and they're not able to do that. It's like a generic sort of vortexy background these days. But here we have the Movellan control room from memory, I think, in the background there, with some computer screens and some infographics and some text about Davros and the Daleks and all that sort of stuff. And the set contains 2 Movellan warriors and 1 Dalek with bombs, which we'll get onto now. So let's take a look at these Movellans first, the kind of newest figures in the sets. Yeah, really, really nicely done. I mean, we had already seen these as the prototypes, like I say, but even so, these look fantastic. Lots of new sculpted parts here. Not entirely new. I believe there are some reused elements, so I think maybe the legs, I saw someone say, are from the Clara figure / Oswin figure, and I believe the hands as well are the same ones that were used on the Fugitive Doctor, which in turn were originally created for Donna Noble. But new heads, complete with those sort of Egyptian-style wigs, new sort of torso wrap pieces, and the arms with that kind of striped pattern of their clothing. New boots, obviously, as well, and some lovely decoration on the belt and on the shoulder pads too. They also have their blaster accessories, which, much like in the story itself, can be sort of held in their hands or kind of just pinned to the waist, so they can clip in and out of the hands by the look of things, which, yeah, is a really nice sort of addition there, and it's always great to have new accessories in the line. I guess being that bit smaller, they're a bit easier to produce than like brand new figures. And we have 2 of the Movellans represented here, so 2 of the actors who played the Movellans, 2 of the specific named characters. I'm not enough of an aficionado of Destiny of the Daleks or Classic Who or anything to know which actors these are meant to be. I mean, clearly we've got like a kind of lighter skinned Movellan and a darker skinned Movellan. So they are fairly generic looking. I mean, again, I can't quite remember how much of the variation there was in the actors who played the Movellans. But I guess the beauty of that is actually, for people who really love the story and really, love these figures and want to buy multiples of this set, they can build up a whole army of Movellans and it won't look too obvious because the figures themselves are fairly generic. And even so, they are androids after all, so, you can kind of explain it away that way too. And the set is rounded off by a Dalek variant, a very specific Dalek variant from Destiny of the Daleks. Indeed, the very first figure from Destiny to be released in the line way back in 2009, I think it was, in the 4th Doctor Adventure set. This is, of course, a bomber Dalek from that famous scene towards the end of the story where a load of Daleks attach bombs to themselves and go and blow up or try to blow up the Movellan ship. It was previously released as the Suicide Bomber Dalek, and that first word has been kind of dropped here to give the more sort of diplomatic, sort of neutral sort of title of just the Bomber Dalek, which makes sense, and I was kind of anticipating that as well. I didn't think it was likely that in this day and age, character were going to be releasing a figure with that word in the title. And in a similar vein, this isn't actually a straight-up re-release of that first Dalek from 2009. It did, of course, most obviously use the updated paint deco, from the Daleks released from Destiny in the History of the Daleks line via B&M. So the kind of slightly more, I guess, bluey-grey tinge to the whole livery, as a whole, and the weathering on the base, stuff like that. I believe the positioning of the bombs on the midsection is different as well, so that's kind of a brand new piece, it would seem. And it's not the newer sculpt that was introduced a couple of years ago, for those Destiny Daleks and other ones as well before it, in the 70s Daleks, with the kind of revised, thicker slats. It's the original sculpt that was used on the original Daleks back in the day, so that same slat sculpt, but with the bombs in different places, I think. So all of that makes this figure slightly different, slightly unique, and sort of allows that original variant to still kind of retain its value somewhat and its uniqueness, whilst also giving, collectors that missed out on that first figure, like myself, the chance to finally add a Bomber Dalek to their collection, which is very much appreciated. I think overall this is a very, very nice set. When we first heard about the Movellans coming out and saw those prototypes, there were rumours that it might be a sort of 3-pack of Movellans, which I think would have been a significantly worse set than this. It wouldn't have been as good, as attractive, as appealing. The fact that you have that Dalek in there as well, not just any old Dalek, but a Dalek that lots of people have wanted to see released for a very, very long time, makes it, much more appealing. I think it was always a matter of time for that Dalek to receive a re-release. It was just a case of when and how, and whether it was in B&M, whether it was, through a History of the Daleks set, or like a Dalek set with Davros, or something like the creation of the Dalek sets. But now we've got around to say, here it is with 2 brand new figures, 2 Movellan figures, both reusing, I suppose, fairly similar elements for the body and stuff. There's quite a lot of part reuse there, but they are new parts, and you get 2 of them, and you can build up an army of more, if that floats your boat. So honestly, I think the deal here is pretty good. And Destiny of the Daleks isn't, a fan favourite story by any means. I mean, Al Dewar actually says in the press release that goes with this how it's actually a favourite of his, personally. I guess it kind of follows the trend of sets based around stories that aren't necessarily the most acclaimed, like with the Warriors of the Deep set, say. But hey, it's nice to see those stories getting a bit of love and attention, and particularly with this story as well, because we've had so many other Destiny of the Daleks figures released in the line, the 4th Doctor, all the other Dalek variants, the Davros figure, the Romana figure more recently as well, and obviously the re-released B&M Daleks a couple of years ago. With the Movellans now, plus the Bomber Dalek re-release, that is a really strong lineup from Destiny, and I think it's going to look great on the shelf and in figure photography and stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the photos of people who army build with this set and have all the Daleks and Movellans together and a great big showdown. That's going to be great to see. So that's the Ruins of Skaro sets. It retails at £40 or £39.99, so the same price as the Fugitive Doctor and TARDIS set, which came out recently. It's available to order on the character websites right now. I believe from what I have heard, they are having less problems this time than they have had in the past with previous launches for other online exclusives, such as that Fugitive Doctor set. So that's great to hear, and the set will be linked in the description if you want to pick up your own. Otherwise, if you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, please do subscribe if you're new for more stuff like this in the future, and until the next one, goodbye for now.